Welcome to That Entrepreneur Life, a podcast about entrepreneurship that takes you from idea to launch and beyond. Each week, your hosts, Andrew Lees and Clint McPherson, discuss different business topics aimed at adding value to any entrepreneur's journey.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of That Entrepreneur Life. I'm Andrew Lees, and I'm here with my co-host, Clint McPherson. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Not much, man. Just the second interview of the day. Get pumped and excited every time we have a special guest on. And today we got Zach Babcock. Welcome, brother.
Yo, what's up, fellas? Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited to be here. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome to have you on the show today, Zach. Before we get into everything, can you just give our audience like a quick overview of who you are and what you're all about?
Yeah, 100%. I'll give the Cliff Notes version because, you know, we all got long stories. And if you want to dig deeper, we can, man. I'm open book.
Sure.
Long story short, or short story long, whatever you want to call it. I did over 5 years of my life in prison for being a knucklehead, not having a real chief aim in life. And then, you know, I did 4.5 years. I got out. And then I went back to prison this 20 days before my twin sons were born. And that was the moment where I was like, dude, I'm done. I'm going to own the rest of my life. I got out, became an entrepreneur. There wasn't any other opportunities as far as like corporate America goes. After putting myself in that situation, I got laughed at for the next 3.5 years. And then I launched Underdog Empowerment podcast. It took off right away. It blew up. And then now I've generated hundreds of thousands of dollars from the podcast, and I help other entrepreneurs grow their brand and do the same thing.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you found your niche, you know, and I was watching some of your YouTube videos earlier, and really cool, man. Just like awesome content, right to the point, and just really helpful to kind of figure out podcasting and then other things related to starting a business. And so really cool stuff.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you, dude.
Yeah, very inspirational, Zach, man. Like I've been following you for a while offline, man. Just your story is it's real, right? It's not something that it's not fluff. It's something that you went through, something you had to live with and deal with, man. But it's so inspiring to know that you didn't let an obstacle like prison or like can't get a job get in your way from being successful and continuing to make your own waves, man. You know, and so I was talking to Andrew about having to get you on our podcast, man. I was excited because every time I watch something of yours, some content you push out, man, it just pumps me up because I know that, again, you're somebody that, you know, it's not like you didn't take no for an answer, man. You found your own way. You made shit happen. And brother, I commend you for getting to where you are today, my man.
Dude, I appreciate that, man, dude. Really means a lot to me. Yeah, I don't take any of that for granted. And just really, really, you know, I'm just grateful for life, dude. I know that sounds cheesy as shit, dude. But you know what I've been doing a lot lately? I've been doing a lot of, it's funny, dude, because I used to make fun of the woo-woo shit, but I've been like super woo-woo lately. But I'm so practical as all
pretty
get us, right?
Spiritual and yeah.
Yeah, but dude, like I got tuning forks and a Tibetan bowl and all that shit now. But dude, I've been journaling and I've been asking myself this: can I have it all? And then after that, I says, what does all mean to me? And then I'll just write, because I feel like, you know, for the longest time, I before I finally got clear on my own shit, I didn't know what all meant to me. I was trying to be successful in someone else's eyes, but not my own. I didn't really know what success meant to me. And now that I'm crystal clear on that in every area and every role of my life, my identity as far as my spirituality, my health, as a husband, a father, a friend, a business owner, investor, like when I know what that looks like, there's power in the simplicity and of knowing and certainty in that. So yeah, I just think it's such an talked about, undervalued aspect in that entrepreneur life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like what you did there.
I mean, it makes it so much easier when you can actually see the canvas and what's on the canvas, right? So asking yourself those questions is not having you, right? You're starting with a blank canvas, but as you jot it down, you become an artist, right? You're sitting there writing things out and things become clear to you, right? Before then, if you don't jot things down and you keep it all bottled up, it could just be a mass array of blur. I think a lot of people are just walking through life with a blurred vision. They don't define what all means to them, what success means to them, what rich means to them, what money means. Like whatever that is, it could be a different definition for everybody, right? So I think as entrepreneurs, we got to get clear on what we want. We got to get clear on the path we're going to take. And until then, you really don't know which direction you need to go, man, right? Like instead of going forward, sometimes you might need to take a step back. You might need to pivot. You might need to slide to the left and right, right? You might have to push the X or the R1 button on the PlayStation remote, right? And do the juke move or spin move. And sometimes that stuff needs to happen. But as entrepreneurs or as people that just like go around with blinders, sometimes we get tunnel vision, right? And then when you have tunnel vision on top of blurred vision, bro, I mean, what are you really going to do with that? So I really can speak to what you're talking about, man, because it will make a huge impact on your direction and the clarity you get when taking on endeavors or just anything, when doing anything in life, just period. So, man, you're a podcast launching expert, right? You're on our podcast, which is so awesome. And with that said, can you take us back though, right? And you touched on it a little bit, but I want to hear a little bit more when your entrepreneurial journey started and what it is about entrepreneurship specifically that really fires you up every day, man.
Man, the entrepreneurship started as a kid. Like I've always been a visionary. I used to hustle fake weed in grade school and Pokemon cards. You know what I'm saying?
Go hand in hand.
Yeah. Oh shit. So I mean, it's always been there. You know, then I was a rapper in a rap group, and I used to always be the one that made the studio time happen. Book shows, hustle up the tickets to pay for the shows, like. You know, it's just always been there. My first job was McDonald's. I lasted half a shift and then I pulled a Scarface off of Half Baked. I was like, fuck you, you're cool. You know? So, I mean, it's just always been there, but I never knew what the word entrepreneur meant. But then when I went to prison, the second time, missing out on my twin son's birth, I knew that, you know, that I was going to get home and I was going to do whatever the hell it took to be in my kid's life and to be a good dad. And that's about all I knew. And so I was like, man, I know I'm not going to be able to get a job. And plus I don't want a job. I always hated jobs. I want something that, you know, that I can control my own income. That's why I always gravitated towards sales jobs and knocking door to door and stuff like that. And so I had experience doing a lot of door to door as a teenager, a lot of, you know, selling thermal windows, siding, gutters, decks, basements, you know, selling meat off the back of a pickup truck. That shit was horrible, by the way. I didn't last long in that because it was a horrible product. But I had that experience. So that was my, what do you call that? Not a reference point. Yeah, I guess like a reference art. Yeah, my association of business. Like, oh, if I go out and sell stuff, I can make more money. And then, so I knew that. And then coupled with that, the Ferguson shit happened with Michael Brown, and I'm from Ferguson. And so I remember in prison, like, hey, your town's on fire. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I go turn on CNN. I'm like, holy shit. And so I was like, okay, how can, you know, I use this and bring some good about it when I get home? Like, oh, dude, I can go and make these T-shirts that have I Heart Ferguson on them and these wristbands. I could go door to door, sell them, and provide for my family. It's a hell of a business model, by the way.
Hey, you gotta catch the trends, right?
Yeah, I guess that was the start of it. That's what I was plotting on, and that never happened, by the way. But that was like what was like kind of leading towards it. And I ended up starting with network marketing when I got out for 2 years, and then moving on to other shit. Sorry for the long-winded answer too.
Oh no, man, I love
it. It's cool. Yeah. So you said that you kind of struggled a little bit for a few years, trying to figure out how you could really get some traction. What was it that finally, you know, that kind of clicked, or what did it just take that long to learn a bunch of different things to put into practice?
Man, powerful question. Really good, dude. And I think it was both. For one, I had to develop the skills, right? The skills got to be there. You got to, as an entrepreneur, I don't know, if you're getting started out and you haven't like broken through and you're not making like 10K consistently every single month, you got to, and this is something you always got to do, but you got to develop skills and character. You got to have strong character and tangible skills that the marketplace wants and needs and will pay for. And, I had to go through that process of developing marketing skills and all this stuff. But then there was also that moment because, when we're in the business, like I was, when you're in the bottle, you can't read the label on the outside. So long story short, I went out to this event that I got invited to speak at. And, I told my story the first day and they loved it, whatever. I don't know if they loved it. They said they did. But then, Marshall came up to me. He's like, hey, dude, can you speak tomorrow? And when you speak tomorrow, can you just talk about podcasting? I'm like, yeah, sure. No problem. And so I went up there and I just talked about everything I knew about podcasting, about interviewing big name guests, making a little bit of money from affiliate income and growing the downloads and getting it ranked on Apple. And everybody's eyes were lighting up and they're answering questions. And at this point, I had already developed my marketing skill. I invested in a mastermind to learn how to craft copy and all that stuff. So I was ready. But then I was like, damn, people want this. And I was like, and I have this skill and I have like proof that I do this, So I was like, okay. And so I put out the offer, made 11K in March of 2019. Before that, I've never made more than like 1,300 a month in my life in a single month. Period. Yeah. And I made 11K and I was like, holy shit, this is real.
This can be done. Yeah. I mean, that moment of proof is like a magical thing, right? Is when you realize that, oh shit, there really is something here. People actually need this. And that's so cool too. When you realize that people need it, you're not having to push something on them. Well, here's my thing. Like, come on, just try it out. It's like if they are coming to you, they're, like you said, they're wide eyed and they're like, they need that info and they want it and it's helpful to them and they're coming to you. That's the dream right there, honestly,
Amen, dude. Yeah. It was that moment, like you said, it's like, it clicks and you're like, holy shit, dude. It's a beautiful
There's
thing.
Something here. That's awesome. So yeah, I mean, so you help people. So then from there, you've worked on helping a lot of entrepreneurs launch their podcast and quickly get it to six figures, which is kind of a tall task. I mean, there's a lot of people saying, oh yeah, you can make a ton of money in podcasting, but they're not really telling you how. So I thought, we thought you're on a podcast, you're on our podcast. What's the first thing you would tell us if you were, if we came to you and said, hey, what should we do? How can we take this to the next level? We're reaching a certain amount of, viewers, like consistent viewers per month, but we really want to broaden our reach. We want to get out there as much as possible and impact as many lives as possible. What would your first piece of advice be for us?
Yeah, man. So there's a bunch of different ways to like broaden the reach and grow the audience, but your 80-20, the lever that you want to is really simple. It's just going on other podcasts, just like I'm doing right now. Go on other podcasts that have your audience and then just jam out, be yourself and then plug your show like Underdog Empowerment and stuff like that. And then
that's it.
Dude, I swear to God, I've been on over 300 podcasts and I have not done any paid ads for the podcast. Actually, I tried it and nothing worked. Cause I'm not an ads guy. I tried it for a few weeks and then I was like, I'm just going to wait till I actually when we start revving up paid ads and shit. But it's been all organic and there's been a bunch of other ways too, like tactics and stuff. But the main 80-20 is just going on other podcasts and just being you.
That's cool. Okay. So do you think
2 things are going to happen? Well, my bad. But 2 things are going to happen. One, you're going to grow your audience. And 2, you're going to make money when you go on other podcasts. If you got an offer that's converting already. And the cool thing is that you can go on other podcasts and push your offers, but I don't. You can, and it works. It works. I don't. I just go and I be me, and then I plug my show and the spot where you can find that at. And then people come over to the podcast, and then it's like the top of the funnel, and then they get to listen to the podcast. And cause it's like getting married on the first date. Like, you wouldn't ask somebody to get married on the first date. You'd probably say, hey, yo, Red Hot Chili Peppers are coming in town next week. Let's go check that out. You know, take them on the next date, you know, and then you get them over the podcast, and now you get to really know, like, and trust me. And then on my podcast, there's plenty of opportunities where I plug to join my email list or, you know, whatever. You know, there's other ways to take the next step. I'm just trying to the next step.
Definitely. And then you can reach out. You get affiliate revenue. You've got products that you can sell, info products or services or physical products or whatever. And then even ad revenue. Although I think a lot of people seems like there's a misconception with podcasting and even like creating YouTube videos that you're going to, you know, create this podcast or create this series of YouTube videos and you're going to make all this ad revenue, or you're going to start a blog and you're going to get a ton of ad revenue. I know a guy who has a very successful blog. I mean, it's like, he's got a lot of views. It's not an insane amount, but it's a lot. And he doesn't make a lot of money on ads. It's got to be something else. I think a lot of people are like, I'm going to be a millionaire on ads and that's it. But that's probably like the last thing that you think about, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you said this because you're so right. And so me personally, I don't like to do ads or sponsorships on my podcast. I just like to promote my own shit on my show. But I've worked with many people and helped them get sponsors with their show. Like, for a clear example, 𝗲𝗶𝗀𝗄 with the 𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗄𝗃 Mastermind. You know, he's in the automotive industry, and he's in the 𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗄𝗃, you know, the whatever you call it, space of the dealership. And so we went out and we helped him get sponsorships for his show. So instead of like trying to get like ad revenue, which pays next to nothing, dude, why not just go lock in? Even people in your area, since you're already in the 𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗄𝗃 space, lock in a sponsorship of someone that, you know, has parts for 𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗄𝗃 stuff. And like, hey, you can be my sponsor and pay me a monthly fee, $250 or $500 starting out. And then as the show grows, that's going to grow too. And you can put your own price on what you charge people to be a sponsor, to shout them out on your podcast. So I don't do sponsorship specifically, but that's a way, but I would do that if I were, versus just letting the podcast host run ads on my show. Agreed.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head there, man. It's just like one of those things is you go on. I love how you brought it up. You know, you're going on these other shows and you don't push your stuff, man. It's like, hey, I'm just going to earn your trust by keeping it real and talking and being me. And then you leave the ball in their court. And I've talked about this so many times as far as being the pushy salesman. There's too many of that, right? We're numb to that whole pushy salesman approach from the car dealerships and all this other stuff. It always comes back to basically like educating the client or educating that person, like the audience, whoever's listening to you, and then giving them the ball, right? Putting it back in their hands and then dipping out. And then right there gives them the empowerment state. Like you're empowering them to make an educated decision because you just educated them. So if they really related and what you said just struck a chord with, your target audience, right? So you're going to speak to that target audience or speak to your audience that you're talking to right now. And so if that strikes a chord with them, it's like it's almost a no-brainer, right? Because you're earning trust, because you're keeping it real and authentic. You're also putting the ball in their hands to help them make the decision because you just educated them, and they're more likely going to go and check you out. Like, oh man, I love what Zach had to say on this podcast. Let me go check out some of his stuff. And the next thing you know, it just creates that snowball effect. So I really agree. I think what me and Andrew have to do better of for us is because we've been in the constant interview stage in our podcast, right? Because everybody really is like keeps reaching out to us, and it's almost insane right now how many people we can't do this because we have too many people wanting to be on here. And then it's like, man, but at the end of the day, like, are the people that are knocking on our door the right people to be on our show, right? They might be entrepreneurs, but like we just interviewed David Meltzer today. Like you've talked to him before, right? And so people like that, people like Zach Babcock, right? People that have some kind of following, whether it's a cult following, whatever it is, that have built an audience up, that have earned trust. It's like us getting on podcasts like that, right? Like shows, and then taking time and building our traction, right? Start small. I mean, it doesn't matter, but you're also, again, building that. You just said you were on 300 plus podcasts, right? Like, so when it comes down to it, you're putting yourself out. Now you're getting a whole bunch of earballs on your situation, right? You're like, boom, here it is, right? Now, this is me. This is what I've been through. This is what's up. And then now you're leaving it up to them to make that decision. And that's probably why you grew so fast, my man.
And I put it in better words, man. I love the analogies about, hey, now you just pass the ball off to them and let them decide what they want to do with it. Dude, that's attraction marketing is so much better than cold outreach, in my opinion. Yeah, I know cold outreach works, but dude, I feel gross as shit whenever I do cold outreach. You know what I'm saying?
You feel like you have to take a shower, man. You know, it's like, damn. Like, I
feel that same way. Yeah, I feel that same way anytime I went into the ClickFunnels group on Facebook. It was just, it's like, ew, this is gross.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
That's funny.
So, man,
and you're also sorry, Clement.
No,
you're also, kind of not wasting your time, but with outreach. Outreach can be great. It's a good way to get quick traction sometimes, and I would recommend it kind of starting out, but yeah, you reach a point where you got every day you got to grind at it. It's not gonna really work for you over a long period of time. So yeah,
for sure.
I waited a little too long to interject that.
Oh no, you're good, brother. I'll let you get whatever you need out, man. But Zach, as you talk, man, you talk about getting alpha entrepreneurs on your podcast, right? And that's one of the main focuses, it seems. How important is it to get high profile individuals on your show? And can you still grow quickly without them?
Yes, you can. And so I'm glad you're asking this. So I'm going to share with you like what I'm moving into. Cause like I like the evolution of it. I'm coming up on 3 years of podcasting in April next month at the time of this recording. What I'm getting ready to do is I'm getting ready to do just solo episodes. I'm not going to interview anybody for a while, just for a while. And I'm getting ready. I haven't even announced this yet. So this is literally the first place that I talked about this. But if you follow me on my socials and shit, you seen I've been kind of going through an evolution the last few weeks, and I've been saying I am alpha underdog and all this other stuff. And that's the next brand that we're launching later this year, but I'm not launching it until I do it myself and develop this process that is the alpha underdog. And so the whole concept is identity and life design architect. You create your own identity and you create your life just by creating that identity. Oh, I want to be this person. What does that person do every day? Oh, boom, and it's it goes deeper, but that's the simplest form of it. And so I'm creating my identities. I already am. I am, and I'm just, I have everything I need right now to be and become, but anyways, that's kind of woo woo or whatever. But anyways, that's what it's about. But I got shit batched up till June right now of episodes that we already recorded. And so when we get closer to that, I'm going to record an episode announcing it on my own podcast. And I'm going to be like, hey, through this, I came out total underdog. Nobody was giving me a shot when I launched this podcast. Nobody, everybody was laughing at me. And then I launched the podcast and started blowing up right away. I had that platform and I figured out how to get super high level people. And the main thing I've been doing this whole time is just interviewing people that were further along than me and just asking them questions that I wanted to ask them to learn from them. And then I would take the advice that I wanted to and implement it. And then, if I didn't think it was for me, if it wasn't, whatever, then I wouldn't. And that's what I did for so long. And I've gained so much knowledge and, more importantly, great relationships in the process. But now I'm at a point where I'm shifting my positioning and my brand to where I'm still going to interview people on the podcast eventually, but I'm going to go through a few months where it's just me on the show. And I'm going to talk with my audience about what I'm going through and how I'm becoming this person. So hopefully that was helpful. But to answer your question more specifically, yeah, you can be successful just doing your own show. Like we have a client that produces a show Monday through Friday, and he just does like 2 to 7 minute podcasts, just quick hits, and it's always just him, and it's never nobody else. And he's getting over 2,000 downloads a month right now, and he's been growing steadily. So you can do it. My favorite way, like in the beginning, like this is it all right if I give this last little quick tip and then I'll shut up? If you're just getting started out, this is what I would do. I'd get your podcast ranked on Apple, and you could do that in a couple of hours. I mean, 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 holds the record for everybody that we worked with. She launched her podcast and had it ranked on Apple 6 hours after launching, which was really cool. And then most people get it within, like over 90% of our clients get it within 48 hours. So it's not hard, and you just get a bunch of written reviews in a short period of time. That's it. And then as soon as you get it ranked, don't even worry about getting written reviews anymore, because you're just getting ranked, and it's just a vanity metric unless you know how to leverage it. What's going to happen is you're going to fall out of those rankings because you don't have enough downloads and subscribers to stay ranked, like 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀's Real AF podcast or Grant Cardone's, but you don't have enough backbone to stay there. But you will, like my podcast stays ranked now, and I haven't pushed reviews in so long because I built it. And so you got to go build it now. And so you got the ranking. That's just, you're going to use that to leverage to get bigger name guests on your show. So as soon as you get it ranked, go, just focus your time, the bulk of your time going on other podcasts. Go on other podcasts that are relevant to yours. You're going to grow your downloads, grow your audience. And while you're doing that, start interviewing super high level people on your podcast. And that's going to position you in the marketplace above everyone else, because you're interviewing people that they don't have relationships with, and not everybody does, because their time is finite. And if you could show and demonstrate, that's what I did, dude. Everybody, there was a lot of people interviewing high level people, but most people would do it on Zoom. I was like, fuck this. I'm gonna go travel and sit down with 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 and sit down with 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 and now I can chop it up and use it all the time and just show it, and it does wonders for the brand. So yeah, I would do shit like that. And then I would also advise not to be in a rush to monetize the podcast, and put the main focus on just growing the audience and making it a kick-ass show, and the money's going to follow that. And all of 2020 and so far all of 2021, you can't find an episode where I pushed an offer on it, because I said, fuck that. I'm just going to I'm going to stop pushing offers on my podcast. I'm just going to have a cool ass podcast, and I'll monetize on different platforms, because I'm going to demonstrate how much ass I'm kicking on the podcasts on the other platforms. And then I'll run offers on those social media stuff.
So then you're sending people from your podcast to those other offers, right?
No.
Okay. So, just not nothing. Yeah. So
there's a lot of people that listen to my podcast that want to end up following me on other social media platforms because they like the podcast. And then, so they follow me, and then they see offers. But more importantly, I do this, dude. We haven't even hit paid ads yet, and we're going to fucking kill it when we do. But dude, like, we're scaling to 7 figures right now. And not saying that, I'm just doing this to illustrate a point. Like, it's all been kick ass on the podcast, and then put an organic post on Facebook that converts people. And then we got monthly recurring services. And so that's how we built the model. Haven't even had to do, it's that simple. And what I do is I use Facebook, and I use other social media platforms too, but because people sometimes will cross over. But all I do is just demonstrate what I'm doing on the podcast. So I'll show, hey, I just locked in an interview with Grant Cardone. Hey, then I'll do it again. Hey, I just interviewed Grant Cardone, and take a screenshot of it or whatever, or take a picture. And then I'll do it again when it releases. Hey, the episode's live. And so I just leveraged me hanging out with Grant Cardone 3 different times. And then I'll do it. I'll keep on doing it with the little clips.
Yeah.
I'll show whenever I just hit 200,000 downloads recently. Made a post about that. All I'm doing is just showing what we're doing with the podcast, and then, then put out offers.
Yeah. And it's helpful, super helpful content. And if you're just showing people, hey, this is what I know about, this is what I'm really good at and what I'm passionate about, then I feel like if they don't feel like they're being sold to all the time, I feel like they're maybe more likely to, convert at some point, right? You're kind of playing the long game. I feel like it doesn't hurt to put a call to action in there sometimes, but and
I'll clear that up too. Like I have a call to action to join my email list on almost every episode. And then I have like call to actions to follow me on Instagram. I'll have call to actions to join the Facebook group for Underdog Empowerment. And when you join that group, it's optional, but it says you want our newsletter for the podcast. And then, so yeah, I have call to action. I'm not saying don't have call to actions, and definitely focus on building your lists. But like, I don't like push offers on the podcast anymore. And you can, there's nothing wrong with pushing offers on the podcast. I just chose lately just not to. I just been jabbing for like a year and a quarter now.
Yeah.
I'm ready for a haymaker, bro.
One big old knockout punch.
There you go. It's the lead nurturing process, man. And that's really what you're doing, brother. I mean, just from hearing what you're saying, right? It's like, you're nurturing, and it's not really lead, right? It's just you're nurturing your audience, and then boom, you're hitting them with a jab, and then you're going to come with a haymaker one time, right? But yeah, the call to actions always need to be there, and they never need to go away. But it's not like all in your face. It's the same approach, like you said, man. Focus on your podcast, make a kick-ass show, and then hey, that's why you have other social media accounts, right? You know your audience, you can go over to Facebook or an Instagram or a TikTok or whatever and sell what you're trying to put out. And I love that approach, man, with which is something we might have to implement, my man, is like, hey, we just had Zach Babcock on the show, right? Like letting people know that. We just interviewed you, right? Dave Meltzler. All these people that we had 2 awesome interviews in one day with 2 kick-ass individuals. Episode coming soon, right? And then you keep that engagement method. It's almost the same guys that you see like that are really hot on YouTube, right? They'll throw a clip out, like a 2-minute clip or 1-minute clip, just saying what their new YouTube video is going to be about, going to be released in a day or 2 day at whatever time, and then you click it, you're only able to watch a little bit of it, and now you have to click over to go to, I mean, it's that nurture process, right? You're interacting with your audience and letting them know that, hey, you haven't forgot about them, you don't want them to forget about you, and then at the end of the day, they're going to get value added by following or watching or listening to whatever you're putting out, which I love that approach, man.
Amen, man. Appreciate you, man.
So Zach, through your entrepreneurial journey, from the highs to the lows, what do you think is the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur for you?
Lately, the hardest part, I say this, I'm like, dude, I'm humble as fuck, dude. Like, I'm not an arrogant dude. I'm very confident too. At the same time, I'm super confident, but I'm not arrogant, right? And I'm super humble and shit. But I got blessed by going to prison and all that shit, because that showed me that, I mean, this entrepreneurship, there's nothing you're going to throw at me that I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I got lucky in that
perspective.
Aspect. Yeah. So I got lucky in that aspect. But the hardest part would be for me is like making sure that that money is right, because now we have a whole team, and it weighs on me when I think about my family and everybody else's family that's relying. At the end of the day, we got a whole team, but at the end of the day, it's all my responsibility. You know what I'm saying? And so I got to make sure that the ship's right and that we're producing and that everybody's getting fed. And so it's a good thing, but it's also, you know, it's like, okay, there ain't no fucking around. Let's go out and make it happen.
Yeah. It's probably healthy that you have that fear, or maybe not fear, but just that you're considerate about that, because if you weren't, you just kind of mean that you might not care about the people who work with you and, you know, and for you. So I think that's really very natural to have that concern. Like, oh man, this is, you know, this is my income, but it's also other people's. And you just want to make sure that you can always, you know, keep everybody, on the payroll as long as possible, and, you know, and help them with their journey too. So I think that's really cool that, you know, really responsible that you're keeping an eye out for that. 'Cause some people might not really care. They might be like, well, if this goes away, if, you know, I take a dip and I have to let some people go, whatever, but it's not whatever. It means you care about people that you work with.
Yeah, man. Well, the thing that the best advice for that, build your reserve accounts, like build 3 months worth of payroll in reserves. So whatever your current, say you got 10K a month that you pay out in payroll, then have 30K in a separate account that's a payroll reserve account ready. So if shit ever does hit the fan, you got 3 months to still pay your team. You know what I'm saying? And that's huge, dude.
Yeah, I mean, that shows that you're not getting complacent with the process either, right? I mean, I like for a perfect example, hey, I was in the military for 10 years, you know, going and doing different things, and then I got injured because of complacency, right? So we ended up getting attacked 2 weeks before I redeployed to come back home. But as a unit, not just an individual, but as a unit, we got complacent, right? And it's the same thing as a business owner or a business owner that has a team around him. And you just said, you know, you have that, you know, there might be a little struggle with, hey, like, I can't, like, let me get out here and make it happen. Like, I have to, because I can't let everybody behind me down, right? And so that whole complacency mindset can get you in trouble. It got us in trouble downrange. I ended up getting medevaced home and all that stuff. But that's a different story, different day. But that shows you complacency can set in. You're 2 weeks from going home, right? And the next thing you know, boom, you're getting medevaced out of theater because the unit as a whole let their guard down. And as an entrepreneur, I really think it's important for us not to let our guards down, especially when we have teams and we're responsible for the livelihood of, you know, everybody that's involved, right? Because you care. It shows that you have a heart. It shows that you want them to do better. It shows that you want to do better, so they can actually, you know, get what they signed up for, right? For you to help take care of them, for you to put money in their pocket, because they're doing their thing, right? And so they're relying on you to do your thing and keep up your end. So I really love that that whole approach, man, for sure.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
So, man, Zach, I think, brother, we can talk. I really think I could talk to you, and me and Andrew probably can talk to you all day, man. And there's probably so many stories that we can go back and forth with and learn from, and just learn from each other's journeys. But as we wrap up this episode, man, if you can leave our listeners with one piece of advice, what would that be?
Oh, that is hard, but man, because there's a lot of good pieces of advice, right?
Sure.
Well, at least I think they're good, but I would say this, man. At the end of the day, you can control everything. So what I mean by that is, like, all right, technically you can't control everything. You can't control what happens to you in life sometimes, you know, fucking some dude can cut you off and run you into the side of the road, and you have to get your car's totaled or whatever. Shit can happen to you. However, in that, whatever happens to you, though, after that, you get to control how you choose to respond to it. You can be all fucking pissed off and let it ruin your day, or you can decide to think of what's the next best thing that you could do to put yourself in the next best situation. You could calm yourself down and not make a decision emotionally, and ask yourself, what's the next best move that I can do that puts me in the next best position? You know, ask the right questions, and then you get to choose how you respond to that. And so your responses literally shapes your life, and it's those moments of decision that shapes our life. And so, you know, I did that shit when countless times. I still do it. There's some cool prison stories that I didn't get into, but one that happened just recently. Like, there was a day where it just felt like everything that could go wrong in the business did go wrong. And I'm just sitting there, and I just felt like there was a bunch of fucking fires all around me. And I'm just like, fuck, I'm just putting out fires. I'm like, damn, I thought we got to the point where I'm like almost 80% removed from the business. And now I'm like fucking dragged back in right now. And I hated it. And it was, I don't want to say hated it, but it like was irking me. And I was getting pissed off, dude. And I was like, felt my blood pressure running. I was like rising or whatever, body heat or whatever you want to call it. And I was starting to like get into that negative mindset, and I was going to make some bad decisions, and it was hard. This shit is simple, not easy. Too many people get simple and easy mixed up. It's simple, not easy. It's hard. But I had to just calm down. I did some breathing exercises, because that will literally calm me down, get the right posture and stuff. And and then just say, like, what can I do? What's the best thing that I can do to put this in? And when I did that, then I was able to logically decide what to do. And then I let the emotions come back and acted with the emotions after I made the decision logically. So calm down, make the decision logically, and then bring the emotions back and act with emotions. But ask yourself those empowering questions and choose your responses. Because at the end of the day, nobody can ever, ever, ever take away that freedom, period, no matter what.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's interesting what you said about the emotions and bringing them back, because it's like sometimes we kind of compartmentalize and, push things off, and I can't get worked up about this. I can't be emotional about this. It's just business, whatever. So it's interesting, but we're human, right? So you gotta have those emotions are going to be there. And if you can kind of like use them as a tailwind, instead of working against you, maybe there's something to that. But I love that you kind of take a step back, figure out what you got to do, calm yourself down, and then get back to the emotions and letting those emotions help you move forward. Yeah. Cool.
For sure. It's about the clarity, man. And so, a clear mind making the decision on the spot, right? That's not clear, right? Because you're reacting. You're being reactive to the situation. And so it's always good to, sit back. And I like to be proactive in certain situations, right? Kind of put myself in situations or think about situations and visualize things like, okay, if this happens in this situation right now, how am I going to react, right? Like, am I just going to blow off? Like, if I'm just going to blow up right now, that's not going to be good, right? Like, I'm around my kids, my family right now. Do I just need to show my ass? Nah, bro. It's in those moments where you have to have a clear mind, where it's like, okay, man, I've learned from my mistakes in the past, and maybe I need to chill out for a second before I react. And instead of, it's always good in most cases to be proactive, but sometimes, man, you can't help but to react to certain situations, and be reactive to a certain situation. But man, I think really when you take a step back and think about having that moment of clarity before you make a decision or how you react to a situation, especially if in the past, like I've made bad mistakes, right? We all have reacted to a certain situation and been like, oh shit, should I have actually done that? Like, I can't take that back now. I can apologize for it, but oops, right? So I really think, again, having that clear mindset, or at least visualizing things, I think really puts you in a better spot. And I know it's almost impossible to visualize everything, but like you said earlier, man, it's really being that having that firm belief that I am, right? Like, I control this, right? I am, Clint McPherson. You are Zach. And so one thing is telling yourself and knowing yourself, right? And just being like, I am that person. I am going to be successful because I am who I am, and I know what I need to do to get there. And journaling that stuff down, man, I kind of want to circle back to that. I really think in painting that canvas and having that before we close out this episode is so imperative and important, man. And so I love how your piece of advice kind of, if you look at it, can really take a 360 approach and really just hone in on having that clear mind and really painting that canvas so you know who you are as an individual.
Yeah, dude, it's not easy either.
Not at all, brother.
Simple. Nope. Simple. It's not easy, bro. Especially if you're like me, dude, because I get fucking fired up. I'm a really passionate dude. And so it's like emotional. It's like I gotta okay. And
I'm
like,
the same way, bro. I'm the same way. It's like we get so we're passionate, and people take that as negativity in some instances, right? Because if we get hyped up and people aren't used to that, like I coach, and so and being what I've been through in the military, I'm a baseball coach, and I played in college, and so going and I'm teaching 7 and 8 year olds right now, bro. And so I'm dealing with parents, and sometimes I'm so passionate about it that it could get misconstrued as me being mean or a jackass or taken out of context, right? But if you knew me and you knew truly where my heart was, and you knew me as the individual before this, right here, you know that everything I do has the purest intentions, right? It's never out of place. But if people don't know you, they don't know your heart, they don't know that you get fired up in certain situations, or that passion comes through in the moment of like, I'm so passionate about this, dude. Like I'm pissed off but at the end of the day, I'm controlled. And I know it's hard, man. It's not easy. Like you said, it might be simple, but not easy. And so I resonate with you on so many levels there, brother.
Bro, that's dope that you coach those kids. I literally just got accepted yesterday as head coach of my twin boys football program. And we're picking up equipment. I can't fucking wait, dude. I already hired my personal trainer to come by because we practice Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And I hired him to come by on Thursday at the end of practice just to teach the mechanicals, just basic mechanicals, the fundamental of how to run, like what you're, stuff like that.
Which is
huge.
Something you need to know when you're that old. Yeah, you gotta.
And they don't teach you that shit until you really hit like high school and stuff, man. And like
they don't. Yeah.
And so if I got him coming in and teaching the shit like that, and then my philosophy real quick, it's just, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but this is my philosophy. They're 7 fucking years old. Okay. I'm not going to try and find the kid that has the best arm and make him the quarterback because we can scramble. I looked at the rules. I'm going to find the fastest kid.
Exactly.
And we're going to run the ball a lot. And I'm just going to work on 3 different routes that you could throw. So we can we can throw it every once in a while, but we're going to focus on that run, and then we're going to work on our mechanicals, and we're going to fucking dominate. We're going to win that Super Bowl.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, securing a football that's like a quarter of the size of the person is, is like key when you're that small, right? You're like, you got this huge football and like trying to throw it is kind of insane. But yeah, you're right. That's awesome.
Well, guys, I think that's a wrap for this episode. But from the both of us, Zach, man, we want to thank you for taking the time out of your day and joining us in what we're trying to do on this podcast.
That entrepreneur life. Appreciate you having me, man. It was a blast, dude.
Oh, man. It was awesome to have you on. Thank you so much for listening to That Entrepreneur Life, guys. To learn more about what Zach is working on, check out UnderdogEmpowerment.com. If you like what you heard today, please subscribe to our podcast, and don't forget to download our free ebook about the success mindset at thatentrepreneurlife.com.
Thanks for continuing to support what we do as entrepreneurs, and don't forget to join us next week for another episode of That Entrepreneur Life.
Thanks for listening to That Entrepreneur Life podcast. Be sure to visit thatentrepreneurlife.com to join the conversation, access our show notes, and discover our fantastic bonus content. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode as we continue to add value. Until next time.